The scene in the Gospel is somewhat surprising. When the mother of the Saviour appears, the Lord has this unexpected reaction. Who is my mother? The intuition given to Blessed Anne Catherine Emmerich as she saw this scene in the Gospel could be a help at this point. What she saw was that the Blessed Mother foresaw that she was going to be the centre of attention in that occasion, and she didn't want it. So she sent a mental message somehow to her Divine Son. They understood each other perfectly. And this is what he did, to deflect attention from her. So there was no offence, on the contrary. That would be typically what she would do. She would not want to be centre stage. And in that, she lives what is given in the first reading for this her feast. Let all mankind be silent before the Lord. She was the model par excellence of interior souls. That same Blessed Anne Catherine Emmerich saw that she spoke only when it was helpful. She was not given to wasting words. Indeed, the Holy Family was a very quiet family. They understood each other without words perfectly well. But in our time, and for a while now, she has been using words from heaven. When she appeared to St. Simon Stock in England, she gave the scapular, and with it certain promises. And it's fitting that she should appear to that order. Her own ancient tradition has it within the order itself that way back in the school of prophets on Mount Carmel, there was an awareness that there would be a woman that had been handed down. So when they came, forced from the Holy Land to Europe because of the Islamic encroachment on Christian lands, they became mendicant friars, having been previously hermits. But they do maintain that balance between the interior and the exterior. Now, we know that Our Lady does honour that promise with regard to the scapular. We have many testimonies, for instance, from situations of wartime struggle and hopelessness, of miraculous interventions due to this. One springs to mind straight away. It was what happened when this good soldier had found water to wash himself with at an abandoned farm. There was a pump there. So to wash himself with this water, he took off his scapular and left it by the pump. He forgot to collect it, and he was about to go to sleep in the army encampment, and he remembered that it wasn't on him. He tried to get permission to go and get it. The commander said not to be so silly, but to do something useful. And it was to get some water for him, or something from the inn that was actually there in the area, which meant that he was away from the camp when suddenly he heard this huge explosion, and he realized it was from the area of his soldiers. It was a delayed explosion which had been well calculated to go off when they would be there, because the Germans had abandoned that area. what was his surprise when another soldier came out of nowhere from the same group, and he saw him alive. What are you doing here? That was our group that was exploded. But actually, I wanted to give you this. I couldn't find you. I know that you had lost this. And he presented the scapula. So he too was presented out of the fray, alive to his friend, also because of the same one brown scapula, when all the troop went up in a massive bomb. And on would go the testimonies. I've had many, for instance, of accidents, road accidents and the like, and this has preserved people. It's good to enroll children in it, make them aware. Our Lady, much later in time, appeared as Our Lady of Mount Carmel, and she had actually promised to do so to the children of Fatima. She did, and what is less known is that towards the end of the series of apparitions and events at Fatima, she had concluded by saying that she would return as Our Lady of Mount Carmel. And when she appeared in Garabandal, it was as Our Lady of Mount Carmel. So there's a link between the two. I was reading recently how it was very quickly handled by local church authorities and not very well. They were forcing these children to write a declaration in fear. That's not the way things are done. And eventually it was completely reversed by a subsequent bishop, became very much in favour, and his successor too in the area. The protection of our Blessed Lady is required in our time against the pandemic, and it would be good to take up the brown scapula. Also, exorcised blessed salt is very powerful against such things. I heard a testimony only yesterday about the power of it. And the prayers in the old blessing of salt and water are extremely powerful, but the devil doesn't like them one little bit. And they do have power. So we are surrounded by helps, what we call sacramentals, but we need to take them seriously, as we do the great sacramental of the Rosary itself, which Our Lady insisted upon each time she appeared at Fatima. Ogni carne taccia davanti al Signore. La Madonna è la figlia di Sion, la silenziosa, quella che parla quando è necessario, ma parla soprattutto con la vita. Però parla in questi nostri tempi delle apparizioni. Ha parlato in Inghilterra a St. Simon Stock, dando questo scapolare a lui con le promesse secoli fa, e poi è apparsa a Fatima verso la fine delle apparizioni, vestita come la Madonna del Carmelo, e ha detto anche alla fine delle apparizioni a Fatima che tornerebbe un giorno come quella Madonna di Carmelo, e ha iniziato le apparizioni a Garabandal vestita dalla Madonna del Monte Carmelo, e dunque c'è un legame tra le due serie di apparizioni. Abbiamo a Garabandal il vantaggio di avere tante cose filmate e anche registrate. Fra l'altro abbiamo la velocità con cui si recitava il Santo Rosario in estasi. La Madonna educava i bimbi a recitarlo bene, e questa è una lezione anche per noi. Quando si prega la Madonna si fa con devozione e non con automatismo. Ho sentito tante testimonianze della potenza del scapolare contro incidenti, contro la guerra, vite preservate, e sarebbero cose per il nostro tempo contro questo disastro della pandemia moderna, sicuramente con gli altri sacramentali come l'acqua benedetta esorcizzata, sale uguale, ha una potenza contro il demonio e contro anche la malattia. Chiediamo anche l'aiuto della Madonna fisicamente. Ci sono comunque legami fra cielo e terra tramite questi sacramentali che portano la benedizione della Chiesa. E portando questo anche fisicamente su di noi, siamo anche difesi contro le tentazioni quotidiane. Sappiamo dall'esorcismo che il demonio odia questi oggetti benedetti. Il rosario stesso, quando è messo su un indemoniato, fa urlare il demonio. La vita nostra cattolica è riempita dal cielo, però chiede anche la corrispondenza nostra. Quando si prega con cuore e mente, però usando anche il fisico, perché la fede nostra è incarnata, non soltanto cerebrale.
Giovane donna, a testa dell'umanità, un desiderio d'amore pura libertà. Il Dio lontano è qui vicino a te. Voce, silenzio, annunzio di novità. Ave Maria.